got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Blake and this is my second and final year-end list. We're keeping it simple this year and not going to push you with a ton of year-end videos. Less is more here in this situation. For the past 2 years I've done a top 25 list for songs. This year we're going to do it a bit more of on a larger scale and expand to 50. In the past I've always included more than one song from an artist, but on this list I'm keeping just as one song, one artist per album to get as many different people on here. My lists in the past have always been kind of focused around alternative music, but this year is different by far. I've listened to a ton of different music and artists that you definitely wouldn't expect me to this year, so there'll be a lot of surprises on this list. 2017 was an interesting year for songs, so let's just jump right into it, but there's a lot of material to go through, so hopefully it won't be too long.
I've been working hard to get this paper. If you ain't been with me from the start, then see you later. I just throw my middle fingers up to all my haters.
At number 50 I chose Sushi by Hoodie Allen off his album The Hype. Unconventional pick to start this off, I know. Pop rap is a shock to hear about on my channel, but here we are. I used to listen to Hoodie back in the day and kind of fell off with him, but this new album, I checked it out and I was like, okay, this isn't terrible. This was the lead single and standout track for me. Chorus is catchy and fun. Despite a lot of weak bars on the record, he makes them work in his favor on this track. There's not a whole lot of substance to this one, just a really fun song with a really unique and interesting beat. It'll get stuck in your head, and that's happened to me a ton already.
So sit down, shut off. I don't know how I'll let you eat so long, 'cause right now you're
At 49 I chose Fever Dream by Grayscale off their album Adornment. This is one of very few pop punk songs in this list, as I felt this was a year that was really subpar. This album definitely being one of the ones that disappointed me hard. I know a ton of people love these dudes, but I didn't connect with this album, and this is one of the few songs I was really into. I thought Fever Dream hit easily one of the best choruses on Adornment and leaned in a little bit of a darker direction that was really refreshing on a very bright and pop-leaning album. The instrumentation contrasts really well between the verses and choruses as well. The mix between acoustic and electric is interesting and definitely unique.
I really thought we had it, but at the time it was more than I could manage. So if we can leave it.
At number 48 I chose You Get Me So High by The Neighborhood off of their Hard EP. I really love this track because it seemed like a return to The Neighborhood's classic coked out lethargic style of really ambient guitar work over these hip hop influenced beats. It's such an interesting style coming from a band like this who got their roots in emo Tumblr with the 1975 and similar Urban Outfitters bands. I love the vibes going on throughout this track and a lot of the lo-fi crackling elements over a haunting and really beautiful chorus despite what it's about. The verses drag along in a really good way and set that moody tone for the rest of the song to work over, and it's kind of the perfect song for a night drive. At 47 I chose I Only Lie When I Love You by Royal Blood off of their album How Did We Get So Dark. I'm again in the minority with this opinion, but I thought this new album was Royal Blood's best work because it sounded really gritty and grungy, and I think they pushed the distorted bass tones to a point of really deep saturation in a special way. Like, this song just sounds so dirty and so hard to believe. There's only one bass part making this track sound so huge. The mix between the drums, bass, and vocals is spot on, and some of the coolest instrumental tones I've heard this year.
Now we just gotta keep it. America's Most Wanted, man, I'm still on a run. All these number ones and we still not the ones. No hard feelings, but I still get you spun.
At number 46 I chose Lose You by Drake off of his playlist More Life. I'm a really big closet Drake fan, and Take Care is easily my favorite project of his, and I felt like he's drifted far from that style, but this song is very reminiscent of that album. I've always loved his songs where there's no real structure and it's all just bars of him getting emotional and getting real. As much as I love the money, girls, cars, and clothes, the lyricism that's throughout all of his music, it's really nice to hear some realness mixed into the usual vibe of what Drake puts down. There's a lot of rawness in the lyricism, and the beat is simple but still emotion-inducing with the piano and subtle backbeat. At 45 I chose Caught in the Middle by Paramore off of their album After Laughter. This is another album that disappointed me, but there were a few songs I got really into, and this was obviously one of them, but definitely one of the least appreciated tracks on the record. I thought the song had the perfect balance of that new 80s driven vibe they were going for while still maintaining some elements of what Paramore was. It didn't feel too far removed from the past, but there was still elements of sound progression, which is exactly what I was expecting out of After Laughter. But I loved the constant guitar-oriented sound that Haley's vocals fit really well over, and I also think it has the catchiest and most standout chorus on the album because of its subtlety and how well it blended into the rest of the frame of the song. At number 44, I chose Second Letter to St. Julian by Sorority Noise off of their album You're Not As Blank As You Think. This Sorority Noise album was slow and depressing as hell, and this is one of the more intimate and more raw songs on this album. It's a song about religion and drug use and a reference to the singer Julian Baker, who we'll talk about later, who's a born-again Christian and former drug addict. I love how the song blows up and becomes more emotional and chaotic. It reminds me a lot of the band The Hotelier. It's a great statement on religion and how people will relate to the idea of a God, and it's a really profound statement from these guys.
Distance like I don't care, don't care. I hope it all comes back again. I wanna get.
At number 43, I chose Slow Burn by State Champs off the deluxe version of their album Around the World and Back. I know a lot of people are scared State Champs is going to go in a 5 Seconds of Summer direction on their new record, but I think this song and Hurry Up and Wait solidified the fact that they are still a pop punk band and they will be in the future. This song is huge though. Every single aspect of the song has energy and staying power, and I think it's one of State Champs' best songs. The verses establish the energy early, and the chorus is so explosive and so catchy. Derek has such a unique and captivating voice on this track, and I think that really shows off his talent as really the best vocalist in the pop punk genre. I've heard a lot of people say this sounds like a country song, but I don't see it. It's pretty funny to think about though.
Someone new, 'cause baby you look happier, you do. My friends told me one day I'll.
At number 42, I chose Happier by Ed Sheeran off of his album Divide. This song is a killer and definitely one of the more emotional songs off of Divide. Ed captures the feeling of this song so well and translates that into a really unique way and how the song transforms and progresses. The first verse hurts a little to listen to sometimes. When I heard the first stripped chorus, I was like, damn. The feeling and emotion is just so palpable and evident. Like live, it's even bigger and sadder, which is hard to believe, but he makes it happen.
I don't wanna be alive. I don't wanna be alive. I just wanna die today. I just wanna die.
At number 41, I chose 1-800-273-8255 by Logic off of his album Everybody. This is one of the biggest songs of the year in the mainstream world and a huge step for talking about mental health in the rap world. I think it's a great position on the common kind of illogical assumption of having money and people loving you doesn't let you be depressed. It's a topic that's not often explored. I think it's important to know that mental illness doesn't really care who you are, and it can happen to anyone, and I love Logic's take on that. It's definitely an emotional song in the lyricism, but the background orchestral arrangement is beautiful, and once Alyssa Cara and Khalid come in, this song hits its peak, and it's just an amazing track.
I'm so sick of feeling used. I wish I could dream of something new. 'Cause right now all I dream about is you.
At number 40, I chose R.E.M. by Nothing Nowhere off his album Reaper. This is another depressing one, but I love the way Nothing Nowhere balances his bars and his more melodic parts on this track. The melodic lines are the standout for me because of how well they flow and sit over that ambient guitar backing. My favorite part of this track is the Lil West feature, which is drowned in pitch correction as kind of a stylistic choice. Lil West and Nothing Nowhere have such conflicting voices, and that adds a really great contrast to the song. It's become a really memorable one off of Reaper and definitely has become my favorite as well. At number 39, I chose Miss Imperious by Broadside off their album Paradise. Paradise was definitely a pop-punk hidden gem of a record, and it's filled with really big and catchy hooks and solid instrumental parts. I could have picked 4 or 5 songs off it to fill this slot on the countdown, but I settled on this one because of how great they pull together the formula on this track. Plus, it has a killer guitar solo that I'm always weak for. Oliver Baxter has a really unique voice that borders on R&B, and it's so interesting hearing that style of singing over a track like this. It's so impressive how the band pulls it off, especially in the swing style that this one is in.
On me, yeah, the drinks are on me. I said now go and take a shot on me.
At number 38, I chose Sativa by Jenny Aiko off her album Trip. This song is quite the trip, which really should be expected of a song title of this one. It's the embodiment of really trippy mainstream stoner alternate, all R&B or whatever you want to call this. Jenny has such a unique and soft voice that fills out this beat and chorus so well. The lyrics are what you expect, alcohol and weed, but the entire vibe of the song is just so memorable. It's the chillest song with all these really soft synth layers and low-end percussion that really makes this song envelope the whole trippy vibe. The entire album is like this, and it's shockingly been a huge favorite for me this year. number 37, I chose The Powers That Be by Being As an Ocean off of their album Waiting for Morning to Come. This song is played backwards, but once you get it forward, this becomes an absolute monster of a track. It's so powerful and so aggressive. It was really the only song like it on the album. It features really low octave overdub vocals that sound almost demonic over really deep and cutting guitars. The production on this track is great as well and shows off the ability to deliver that power through electronic instrumentation as well. A lot of people call this album pretentious, but I thought it was just a huge steps forward for Being As an Ocean in terms of songwriting. This song was a huge reason why. At number 36, I chose Playing Fiction by Rome off of their album Great Heights and Nosedives. This is a pop-punk banger. It made me forget who Neck Deep was when I first heard this track. If all of Rome's tracks were like this, I would easily consider them one of my favorite pop-punk bands. They mix the dual vocal styles really well over this really interesting and catchy guitar parts that are all throughout the song. The chorus balances power and melody into really the perfect hybrid. It's really interesting how they do it because they haven't succeeded like this on any other track.
Who that boy? Who him is? Who that boy? Who him is, nigga? Who that boy? Who him is? Who them boys, nigga? Who them is, nigga? Why you niggas feel like...
At number 35, I chose Who Dat Boy by Tyler, the Creator, off his album Flower Boy. This is another song that's really interesting and shockingly one of Tyler, the Creator's less ridiculous songs. I like how it opens up in that really creepy synth and strings mood before going right into this heavy-hitting grime-style beat in the immediate chorus. Tyler's vocals sound intimidating and commanding as ever and really pushes the limits of grammar while still getting a coherent message across. A$AP Rocky's feature on the chorus and second verse of this track is really fun and sticks out and I think really completes the song. This song doesn't really fuck around and the combined flows of both A$AP and Tyler fill this song out and give it really the swagger it needs. At number 34, I chose Flower Child by Citizen off of their album As You Please. As You Please was a very artsy departure from the band's previous more hard-hitting and heavier material. This is one of the quieter moments on the record, but just blossoms so well throughout the track and builds in a really special way. I love how it opens up with soft acoustic guitar before the entirety of the instrumentation comes in and just blows it all up. It does it so smoothly and naturally and the change is almost unnoticeable. I also love how it never goes back to the acoustic and keeps all that built-up energy constant throughout its remainder.
Let's let things come out of the woodwork. I give you my best, I tell you all my best lies. Yeah, awesome, right? So let's let things come.
At number 33, I chose Homemade Dynamite by Lorde off her album Melodrama. Lorde hit us with another really unique album in Melodrama and balanced the art with pop sounds as well. The sounds she puts together on this track are so different and contrasting and should honestly probably not even work, but they do in the best way possible. It's a really vibey chorus that she sings in like this whisper style, but I think it adds towards the real general mood of the song that balances ambience and energy.
I'm supposed to say, police pull me over, they ain't got nothing to say. I told them I got tents because I'm rich, they said okay. Ay, gotta pray a lot, niggas get shot up every day.
At number 32, I chose Say A by Boogie with the Hoodie off his album The Bigger Artist. This is probably the catchiest rap track of the year for me just because of the beat and melody gets stuck in my head at least once a day. The natural bass line in the song is so funky and punchy and combines with the piano really well. Of course, it's unbeatable, honestly, in terms of flow and melody. I usually really dislike police sirens in songs, but here it's almost musical and really adds to the whole vibe. Overall, it's a sick song and probably one of the more listened to tracks on this list for me. At number 31, I chose Heavenward by Wolf Alice off of their album Visions of a Life. I really love what Wolf Alice did on this record and how they balance a lot of atmospheric sounds with their typical hard alternative rock style. The production and structure of the song is really special and balanced those previously mentioned factors in, I think, the best way on the record. The vocals are mixed down and give the guitars room to set the mood of the song and really do the job of carrying it along in terms of emotion and feeling. I love the way this song weaves in and out of the quieter and more aggressive sections that switch really instantaneously. This song keeps you guessing, I think that's what I love most about it.
Vanish, don't leave my heart damaged. To understand that things go a little bit better when you plan it. Oh, so won't you?
At number 30, I chose Location by Khalid off his album American Teen. This is a normie pick, I know. Local Twitter is all over this dude, and Post Malone, there's no denying that at only 19, Khalid is making huge moves in the R&B world in a very 80s style. The synth arpeggios in this track are amazing, and the way he works on guitar and various other instrumental tones really fill out the beat. Khalid's vocals are like R&B perfection and has the perfect low end and hazy voice that make the song vibe in the way that it does. The small vocal runs and inflections he works in are small but make this vocal line so interesting and fun to listen to.
I put the drink in the headlock. Tryna cross me, boy, you better not. 4 until 4 almost fell out. Do what they can cause it's deadlock. 4 until 4 almost fell out.
At number 29, I chose Headlocked by Cousin Stiz off of his album One Night Only. Cousin Stiz is a pretty unknown rapper right now, and his style is pretty much summed up in constant and deep flow over pretty dark and ominous beats. It's a pretty interesting style of rap, and I think this is definitely his best song. This song features Offset from Migos, who gives us a blisteringly fast verse compared to what Stiz is laying down throughout most of the song. That contrast between the two parts is amazing, and Offset's part definitely will catch you off guard the first time you hear it. It's pretty basic trap lyricism throughout the duration, but I'm into it because of how unique the beat and combination of styles are.
And the bright red eye is in off you, yeah.
At number 28, I chose Crack Up by Fleet Foxes off of their album of the same name. This is probably the most folk-driven song on the countdown, but it's one that I love because of its uniqueness and how different it is from Fleet Fox's other material. It's a long song at around 6 minutes, but it does an excellent job of not feeling that long. This song tends to drone on a little bit, but just sounds so therapeutic and relaxing. It's almost on the edge of being cinematic in the way it just loiters and then blows up at certain parts. This one also uses a bunch of different instrumental tones to get its message across, and I love the choice of horns and strings and other folk instruments. At number 27, I chose Hannah by Coin off of their album How Will You Know If You Never Try. This new Coin album is an alt-pop masterpiece because of the way they put together a bunch of pop melodies and instrumental tones while actually writing everything with some substance and meaning. This song starts off in almost this brooding and dark synth section before getting increasingly more and more bright and poppy before the chorus really brings those moods to its peak. This is essentially the title track of the album, and I think it brings together the best parts of it. It's not overly bubbly and saturated with, pop stereotypes, but they're still there to a limited extent. What I like most is that it doesn't feel like your typical bubblegum pop while still kind of sounding like it.
To be lonely and feel hated and still don't give up. There's a
At number 26, I chose Good Christian Man by Have Mercy off of their album Make the Best of It. Have Mercy has gone through a ton of changes lately, and their sound is definitely one of them, as they've brought in a ton of darker elements into the mix on Make the Best of It. Good Christian Man seemed like the darkest in both lyricism and instrumentation as they go heavier and deeper and creepier on this track. I love the clean verses with lower registered vocals before the chorus brings in all these roaring and fuzzy guitars, and Brian brings in his roughest vocals to date on a Have Mercy song. I love the contrast in these parts, and it's really exciting seeing these guys keep it going and continue producing quality music.
She's got her secrets, yeah, I got mine too. I don't care about what you did, only care about what we do.
At number 25, I chose Dirty Laundry by All Time Low off of their album Last Young Renegade. The first time I heard this song, I despised it, but as time went on, I grew to absolutely love it. It's like it might even be one of my favorite All Time Low songs ever. It has the slowest moving progression, but that's what I love the most about it. The way Alex sings in the lower register over the waves of chorus and reverb-drenched guitars is one of the best parts of Last Young Renegade. Once it opens up and the whole band comes in, the song gets blown wide open, and it's one of the biggest moments on the record as well. The harmonies are great, and just the topic of loving someone no matter what they've been through is a really lovely one too. At 24, I chose There's a Honey by Pale Waves off a currently unnamed future EP that will come out in 2018. This song is 80s inspired perfection and really the female vocal version of the 1975, so naturally I'm in love with it. This song is sparkly and shimmery and bright and poppy, and it's really one of the best examples of this style I can think of in recent years. I love how the first chorus of this song is chilled out at the start and then goes right back into the hook that just dominates this song. The vocal work is amazing and manages to sound as sad as possible against the really positive sounding instrumentation. Watch these guys because they will blow the fuck up in 2018.
Bad bitches, fuck them, then dismiss them. Bad. Woo. I ain't really here to take no pictures. Flash. Middle finger up, fuck fuck the system.
At number 23, I chose Get Right With You by Migos off their album Culture. I can't wait to hear the criticism for this one, given the fact that a trap song snuck its way into the top 25, but Migos manages to make the simplest and catchiest rap in the game. I love the start and stop flows all around this track from all three rappers, but easily the standout verse is Takeoffs that closes the song out. It's syncopated and gives us the darkest and most ominous emotions. Like usually, Offset gives us the fastest verse and Quavo finds some middle ground, but the fact that all three of them are bringing something different to the table when there's usually very little differentiation is great. Although the lyricism is typical trap, I think it's easily the standout track from Culture. At 22, I chose Glass by Daughter off of their album Music from Before the Storm. This is pretty much a full instrumental track, which is rare to see on a year-end song list, but this track is just so well written. It focuses around one central guitar part that just crescendos its way until the end of the song, while all these other instrumental textures get worked in. Once the vocal harmonies get thrown into the song, it just becomes haunting and so special. If I were to ascend to heaven, I would imagine that it would be like how this sounds. When I think of cinematic styled songwriting, this is basically the first song that comes to mind now. It honestly just feels like film score.
Just show some respect, but I don't let him touch me anymore. I said I'm not something to butter up and taste when you get.
At number 21, I chose 100 Letters by Halsey off of her album Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. Halsey is a large guilty pleasure of mine, but I always have thought her songs missed a lot of low end and really big hooks, and this song fills out both of those wants for me. I love the 808 and tropical geared percussion on this track. The backbeat of the song has such a punchy bass and snark stare style beat, and that's easily my favorite part of the song. The chorus is also huge once Halsey gets into that upper register, and that just stands out really well against the verse and pre-chorus where she stays in a lower octave. The vocal line is huge and suits her range perfectly, and this is definitely my favorite song from her ever. At number 20, I chose Chewing Glass by End from their EP From the Unforgiving Arms of God. This song is brutal to say the least. It just sounds so like disgusting with how heavy these guitars hit. The tones are sludgy and big and blur the lines between what the bass and guitar are playing. This song just sounds so chaotic and evil, and I love that it doesn't let up for the entirety of the song. It hits and just keeps going and is honestly some of the heaviest music I've ever listened to. This entire track is just the embodiment of power and hardcore, and I wish nearly every band meant as much business as these guys do. At number 19, I chose Motion Sickness by Nick Deep off their album The Peace and the Panic. This is a pop-punk masterpiece, like the song pop punk bands dream of writing one day. The ironic thing is that it's just a really simple chord progression and general structure, but it's all the intangibles that make this song so special. The drumming has a lot to do with it, but I can't figure out what just makes this song so big and huge. The chorus is huge, and so is the bridge, but the verses and pre-choruses do such a great job of inflating the song to that point and really building that energy up. Ben sounds really good on this track, and the melody is so simple and powerful, and it just really puts it all together.
We were sitting down in the restaurant waiting for.
At number 18, I chose K by Cigarettes After Sex off of their self-titled album. This is one of the chill songs I've ever listened to, and it's really just a combination of how lackadaisical the instrumentals are and the uniqueness of the vocalist. I love how casual the lyricism is and how it's very anecdotal and just describes an encounter when two people talked about in the song were beginning to fall for one another. This song just makes me want to be in like a dimly lit room with a glass of wine doing everything they talk about in the song. And I also love how they do it with a very minimal instrumental background as well. Most of the song is just drums and bass. It's just very impressive how they pull it off.
You think I'd leave your side, baby? You know me better than that.
At number 17, I chose By Your Side by the 1975, which is a standalone single and a cover of a Sade song as well. I love the way the 1975 took elements of the original and made it completely their own 80s inspired song that's both pulling and very emotional. A lot of people really dislike the vocoder usage throughout the entire song, but I love that stylistic choice and how slow moving the melody is and how Maddie's voice sounded almost instrumental blended in with the other synths. I wouldn't mind if the band went down this direction in the future because this vibe is amazing and really brings out the best in their instrumental formulas and songwriting. I can't wait for Music for Cars, and hopefully we get something like this again. At number 16, I chose You're Not You Anymore by Counterparts off of the album of the same name. I really think this might be my favorite melodic hardcore song ever because of how well the emotion and anger is integrated into this track. Initially, the Disconnect by Counterparts held that position, but the song progresses in such a way that blows that song out of the water. The guitar parts are haunting and brooding while having a ton of power as well. The rhythm and lead blend so well. I think that's part that carries the emotion the best throughout the entire song until the last final burst of energy. The last part blew me away the first time I heard it, and it still does every time I listen to it. It's such a powerful part, and I think it's Counterparts' best writing.
You got so much potential. Every moment spent with you, I've been was always eventful. I've never seen you.
At number 15, I chose Heebie Jeebies by Amine off his album Good For You. I love the movement and the synths on this song and how they become part of really the basis of the song and really follow that intro piano part. Amine and Kalani really have the perfect vocal chemistry for this type of hip-hop duet and harmonize so well with one another in the first verse. Good For You is filled with really great hooks and choruses, and I think this was easily the best because of how long the intro of this track is dragged out and how long we have to wait for them to both come in and deliver. The lyricism is really great as well, and I love how it's an upbeat and fun love song. At number 14, I chose Forever by Code Orange off of their album Forever. This is another really deep and powerful hardcore track that's grimy and dirty. I love how fast and aggressive this track is. Just from the opening octave down vocal section, you can tell this song meant business and definitely was not gonna fuck around. I love how this track works in a lot of industrial elements as well, with the excessive feedback and shrill percussion that comes in during the interlude. The vocals are as heavy as I would want them to be, and they fucking slam so hard and perfectly complement the rest of the big and violent instrumentation. This entire track keeps you guessing in the best way possible, and I am so into it. At number 13, I chose Die Young by Sylvan Esso off of their album What Now. I could never get into this band until I heard this song right here, and I've been in love with it ever since I heard the chorus for the first time. I love the really analog and warm sounding synths that make these octave jumps that give the chorus the melody and bass track as well all in one. There's so many other really interesting synth parts floating around throughout this track, and they definitely really don't go unnoticed as they're really the elements that keep this track interesting. Sylvan Esso is so underappreciated. At number 12, I chose Conduit by Knuckle Puck off of their album Shapeshifter. This is my highest ranked pop punk song of 2017, and it's not even a pop punk song. It really borders on emo, just like the rest of this album. I thought Knuckle Puck made huge jumps in their songwriting ability on this album, and this was just the biggest example, I thought. Just the way this song progresses and uses motifs from the previous parts of the song shows how well they've managed to evolve and get better. I love the chorus in this one and all the layers that are constantly weaving in and out of one another. This song is special for sure, and I think it's one of Knuckle Puck's defining moments in their discography. The lyricism and melody are amazing, and how well they translate the emotion through both those mediums is definitely something special.
Where did we go cold? I thought I had you on hold.
At number 11, I chose On Hold by the XX off their album I See You. On an album that really missed me completely and I ultimately listened to like twice, this song landed for sure, and I kept it spinning all year. The XX definitely gave Jamie the keys on this album and essentially let him do whatever he wanted in terms of production, and you can tell so easily in the song throughout it with all the sampling and synth movement. The vocal chemistry in this song is great, and it's interesting from start to finish. It's also a great topic to explore, and I think the XX absolutely nailed it on this one.
No one ever knew how much I was getting into in the backseat of a taxi.
Opening up the top 10, I chose Taxi by The Maine off of their album Lovely Little Lonely. This song makes my heart hurt, like just plain and simple. It opens up trauma I didn't even know was there. I don't know who hurt me to make this song make me want to die, but fuck, someone did something. I love how the song explores mental health and companionship, and how there's essentially two people helping each other get through whatever the hell is going on. It's a beautiful song about a really intimate topic. The guitar solo rules as well. It works out the melody in a really unique way and translates it perfectly into the climax of the song, and I am just weak for this one.
We don't cry, purple teeth lying on the floor, just like that, you.
At number 9, I chose Purple Teeth by Lainey off of their self-titled album. This song just sounds like falling in love to me, like all the arpeggiating synths and really airy vocals talking about the slow process of falling for someone really just do it for me. It's a very relatable feeling just because of how easy to understand Lainey makes it feel. You know, you're reserved and don't want to jump in too quickly, but you're excited to see what happens. Purple Teeth is a reference to getting wine drunk as well, so naturally, I love it. I love the chorus and how well all that positive emotion gets put into it. It's just a really personal song for me. I'm so happy I've gotten to see it live a few times now.
Am I warm enough for you outside, baby? Yes, warm enough here for you. Warm enough for
At number 8, I chose Drew Barrymore by SZA off her album Control. I love that this song is about insecurity and not feeling good enough for somebody. It's about comparing yourself to someone who you think is better for the person you love, and it's just a terrible fucking feeling. I love that the beat is centered around a guitar part with a Leslie effect, and SZA's vocals are on point throughout this entire thing, and she uses so many different techniques and runs. The chorus is huge, and it's definitely a big discovery for me this year because I fell in love with it very fast. At number 7, I chose Somebody You Found by the Japanese House off of her EP Saw You in a Dream. This is another slow and emotional one similar to SZA about not being good enough and being left behind. I love the vocoder background parts that serve as an instrumental melody, but the real thing that gets me in the song is Amber's just droning in sad vocals. There's no life or energy in them and throughout the entire song, and sounds like just the manifestation of realizing that you're not good enough. It's an excellent way of putting a feeling into a tangible form. I'm so impressed by it every time I hear it, and it just makes me feel the same things every time.
I think I'm losing it. I think I'm losing it. Oh, I think she said I'm having your baby. It's none of your business.
At number 6, I chose Kiwi by Harry Styles off of his self-titled album. This was another huge surprise, like monumentally huge surprise. I expected him to go in a complete pop direction, but hearing him go rock was the best thing to happen to me this year. He pulls off the style in a ridiculous way, and I could see him being a huge rock star if it was the 70s with a lot of the songs off this album. I never thought I'd see the day where Harry Styles was talking about doing coke, running away from a girl he got pregnant, and making Steven Tyler-esque inaudible noises in the background of songs, but he does it. What a time to be alive, honestly. I just want this song playing as I like descend to hell one day. It's a jam.
I wanna be with you. I wanna be with you. Just love me.
At number 5, I chose Love by Kendrick Lamar off his album Damn. I could have put at least 5 songs off of Damn on this list, but hearing Kendrick doing a song in this style is mind-blowing because of how well he pulls it off with just complete ease. I love how well the rap verses are mixed with really emotive chords and how Kendrick trades off his parts with Sakari. I don't think I've ever heard a rap song talk about love in this positive and accurate of ways and do it with so much emotion. I find it so weird that it works because Kendrick has a very unique voice, especially his more melodic singing style voice, but it just works. It's so impressive, and although there's no real bars in this song, it doesn't even matter.
I know you're sad and tired, you got nothing left to give. You'll find another life to live. I know that you.
At number 4, I chose The Way Life Goes by Lil Uzi Vert off his album Love Is Rage. This is a huge surprise even being on this countdown. Never mind in the top 5 above Kendrick, but I am just weak for this song. I'm so happy Lil Uzi Vert took a break from solely recording ad-libs to lay down a track that is real and emotional and about loss and not just about the diamonds and the drugs, you know? This one also features Oh Wonder on the hook, and when you put that hook in the context of the rest of the lyrics, this is a heartbreaking song. Like, no lie, this is one of the saddest songs I've ever heard when you get down to the just analysis of the lyrics and how they were going to get married and live together and all that stuff. It kills me a little bit, which is something I never thought I'd say about a Lil Uzi Vert song.
to fix all my missing cells. Didn't bring it up, 'cause I've done so well this week, and I thought.
At number 3, I chose Sour Breath by Julian Baker off of her album Turn Off the Lights. Speaking of heartbreaking songs, it really only gets worse with this one. This one's all about blaming yourself for a failed relationship that you had no real control over, because no matter how hard you try to fix it, it just falls apart. Julian Baker has a really special way of making me want to jump off a bridge, and this song and the new album in general is just no different. She's so eloquent with every negative emotion I've ever experienced in my life, and she creates such a beautiful soundscape to put all these problems over. She is art, and listening to her makes me physically uneasy and sad.
Always spread the love when I get back, you. Got your hand out, that's a bitch move, you. Always complaining like a bitch do me. Still right here with who I came with.
At number 2, I chose Me You by Russ off of his album There's Really a Wolf. I consider Russ one of my all-time favorite artists, and this song is a huge reason why. I got There's Really a Wolf in a time where I really needed it a ton, and all of the braggadocious and confident lyrics helped me put myself back in a position where I believed in myself and all that lovely stuff. All of Russ's music is about being confident, some would argue arrogant, and confidence is the most important thing you can have in life. The more I listened to this song, the more it showed me how I can really grasp that mentality as well and really excel on those things he talks about in this song. We're all chasing success in some way or another, and getting some inspiration and motivation isn't a bad thing at all, and this song did that for me this year in big ways. And so finally, my favorite song of 2017 is Daylily by Movements off of their album Feel Something. This song was written about Patrick's girlfriend and her mental health struggle, and how certain days would be better than others, and how she deserves the best energy and headspace throughout all of the struggle. If you're with someone or care about someone or are someone who suffers from the same thing, you know how important getting in a good headspace is and how much you want the best for them or yourself. This is such a wholesome song because of how pure the intentions in it are, and it's something I wish upon all my friends and everyone in my life going through a rough time. It's my favorite song by Movements by far, and I loved it from literally the first time I ever listened to it. It's such an important song about such an important topic. It's really the sound of loving someone else, and it's just pure fucking art. I'm in love with this song and definitely deserves my top spot for this year. If you made it through all 50, I'm super proud of you for listening to me talk forever. I've had so much fun making this, as it's really my biggest video to date. It took a lot of effort, but I'm happy to have expanded my music taste this year, and hopefully you can find some new music through this big fucking video. But definitely let me know what your favorite songs of the year were, and thank you so much for watching.